Founders Call. We are 2 days late. It is August the 10th. This was supposed to be out on August the 8th. So I do apologize. I did put a post out on LinkedIn for those of you who were eagerly waiting for that on August the 8th. Me and Martin were supposed to have flown home and arrived home right in time for me to do this. However, we ended up getting stuck in the airport in Colorado on delay after delay after delay after delay. So I'm home now, and here we are going for it. So let's get started. As per usual, I want to do a little bit of an introduction as to what the Founders Call is. This is our way of being as transparent as we physically possibly can. The traditional model of alternative investments, or really any investments that you're in, is that you get either an annual email or update. If you're, in a typical investment, you might get a quarterly report or a quarterly update. However, we think that that is still not enough, especially for those who are new to investing or new to real estate, or those who just like to have more of a pulse on things. So we do these calls every 2 weeks or twice a month, on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And our goal is just to go through all of the stuff that typically doesn't get talked about, how the actual company's going, what the managing partners are up to, how little nuances are happening. It's kind of the roller coaster of wins and losses and hurdles and achievements and all that fun stuff in between. Investing is, for us, it's a way of life. Our whole life is built on investing and creating and developing. And so for us, this is the fun stuff. And if you are also one of those people, then for you, this is also the fun stuff. It's not just getting that quarterly report that says, things are wherever they are. It's being on that ride and being along for the journey. So that's what the Founders Call is. And on that note, we're going to go over 6 things. We're going to go over general updates of the Nova House as a whole, property development, how that's coming along, the last 14 days, the next 14 days, thought of the week, and the last one, opportunities. And so I've got 3 goals for the Founders Call. The first is that I hope that you have a clear understanding of our current situation. The second is for you to have learnt something about international developments in the process of this next 15 to 20 minutes. And the third is that we build a slither more trust with you than we had before you watched, and someday hope that you will partner with us and we can do more developments together. So who are we? We are the 4 managing partners of the Nova House. Left to right, this is Martin Papp. This is myself. This is Derek Rush and Lee Rush. And then this is Daniel Calvosa. And between us 4 or 5, we have developed tens of millions in personal real estate across 8 countries, had our hand in close to 10 billion in developments, including managing giga projects, founded and scaled the Chinese tea company to over 400 locations, hosted 47 investors from 7 different countries for investor retreats, and have done most of this from over 40 countries in short-term rentals. That is spread across all of us, by the way. Some of us are very well achieved, compared to others, but across the board, that is where we're at. And we have now all come together to build, operate, and exit luxury rentals in Costa Rica. And I do have to say that our fund is strictly for accredited investors. This is not a pitch in any way. This is just an informational live stream on where we're at as a company. So let's get stuck in. First one is general updates. At the last Founders Call, I had, I believe, just finished TNDDA. And so we have had multiple follow-up meetings from TNDDA, which has been fantastic. We've had a lot of people who are wanting to move forward and wanting to, actually put the Nova House on their books, start going through the due diligence process, that kind of thing. So we've been organizing a lot of meetings, having a lot of conversations, and trying to push through our third-party report, because that's kind of the hold-up at the moment, which I'll touch on here in a minute. Due diligence, speaking of that third-party report, is that it is finished on our side. We are now waiting to receive that report from Buttonwood. They have said that it should be this coming week, which is exciting. Once we have that, that is then just, we can now sort of move forward with everyone who's been interested. But up until this point, we've kind of been at a standstill, waiting. People like, we're interested to move forward, but we need to see your PPM and your due diligence report. And so for the last, 2 months, we've kind of just been, at that tipping point with so many different interested parties. And, we're finally at that point now where it's, a week away from getting that report and putting it in these investors' hands and seeing where we actually go from here. Even though that report is, not completely finished, Buttonwood have completed it enough that they actually presented at their conference this past week, in a closed door session to the investors on, their reporting so far, their findings, that kind of thing. And we heard from multiple people in the room that, it was great, which is fantastic to hear. So what else we got? I'll get into this in a minute here, but email marketing campaign that I mentioned on the last founders call has begun, and we've already started getting multiple qualified investor meetings so far. We are working with Joshua from Scale Inbox out of Singapore. He's targeting multiple family offices and accredited investors and large firms for us to set up meetings with, and that's going quite well so far. So I will keep you guys updated on that. Big one here is that the Buttonwood conference we just got back from in Colorado Springs, which is about an hour to an hour and a half away from Denver, Colorado. And it was a huge success for us. It was a very different kind of conference. It was far less professional and far less structured, whereas it was much more casual and intimate. And so they capped their conference so that it has a particular ratio of 50 to 60 investors and firms, and only 15 sponsors, us being one of those sponsors. And so it was a great ratio, and for the most part of the conference, it's actually going in meetings, presenting, those types of things. But they also add in a lot of activities to actually have an intimate and much more personable experience with the people that you're hoping to do business with. So they took us to the Colorado Springs Zoo, and we had like a private dinner at the zoo. They took us up Pikes Peak, which was great. We had, an hour and a half up, an hour and a half back to be mingling with everyone and things like that. So it was really different and far more practical than any other conference I've been to in terms of actually building those relationships that you need to build, which is quite hard to do when it's, 3 days of just sitting down in your chair and listening. It's hard to actually build those relationships. And so we did a lot of learning. We made a lot of progress with investors, and we also had a lot of takeaways on how we can continue onwards and upwards from here, which is really exciting. From that conference alone, we've identified around 10 relationships that we're definitely going to be leaning into. We had multiple people actually come up to us after our pitch and our sessions and say that they are ready to move forward as soon as we get our report. And we even had a few people say that they would like to put in their personal capital as well as clients' capital. So that's huge. It's absolutely massive to have personal buy-in from the founders of firms and not just the money that they manage, which is fantastic. So the way that the Buttonwood conference was structured, and I'll mention this because it will make the photos and videos make sense, is that you basically have a 10-minute pitch in the main ballroom. So there's about 100 people total, and you get to pitch for 10 minutes, which is an incredibly short amount of time. We had to do a lot of work to shorten our pitch to 10 minutes and try to get as much out as we could and hit the important points. And so I think we did fantastic. I took half of the pitch, Martin took half of the pitch, and we sort of bounced off one another, which was great. And then from there, what you do is they separate you, and there are 5 private rooms, very much like this one here. So there are 5 rooms like this, and they're all side by side. And in that whole room that you saw before of 100-ish people, well, I suppose there's 60 investors. They then spread out amongst those 5 rooms. And then us as a sponsor, we go into each room and we have 15 minutes to answer questions. Investors come up and they bring up their objections and what they're worried about, or why they would invest or why they wouldn't invest. And they kind of, for lack of a better word, they drill you and tell you exactly what they think for 15 minutes, and you have to handle that. And so quite intimidating, but it went really, really well. And so our pitch went great. All of our 5, small room Q&A sessions went fantastic. We didn't really have anything any questions come up that we weren't really able to answer, or anything that was a major objection, which was great compared to a lot of, not a lot, but some of the ones that we sat in on. I think ours went, quite well. It's definitely quite intimidating. So I think I built it up a lot in my head about it's going to be big and scary. And so that went all fantastic. Got a lot of people sort of on board and on our side from that after handling a lot of those questions. And then sort of adding in here just some of the pitches from the casual events. And so this is Martin and one of the RIAs at the top of Pikes Peak. This is me, Martin, and the CEO of a family office, also at top of Pikes Peak. Martin and I sitting in the airport. We arrived at the airport at 9:30 a.m. and our plane was delayed. Every hour we got a delay. We didn't end up leaving until like 3:30 or 4 p.m. So that was a lot. Okay. Property development. Exciting news. We finally have our water letter approved. Holy moly. That was a struggle. It took far longer than we expected. The scale of what we're building is, far bigger, grander, and just outstanding than, what we originally set out to do. And so with that comes these extra hurdles. And so, we've had the team from Quattro Legal in the municipality trying to get these water letters through. And we finally got that water letter about 3 days ago. Fantastic. Very, very excited. So now it is on to the last and final, and should be the quickest, which is the municipality approval. We start moving earth, start moving forward. Outside of that, we have Esteban from Design Labs, who is, pushing through some of our interior design work. He's creating a lot of the signs in conjunction with Song from Puri Lighting. So they're creating a lot of the interior design and the lighting. As you can see here, this is the entrance sign that will be up. I believe this is getting changed slightly to include the words Canopy Station somewhere, I believe. This gives you a bit of an idea as to what the podcasting room will look like. You've got neon signs, nice comfy sort of area to sit. And it's all designed so that as those cameras are set up to actually record your podcast, you have a really cool background no matter where you are sat at that podcasting table. This gives you an idea of the massage room down underneath near the sauna and the ice bath, which is very cool. And then Puri Lighting is and they have more awards than I could possibly rattle off here from all over the world. They've won multiple awards for best hospitality experience. They did the first Equinox hotel that they won awards for. And Song actually messaged us a couple of days ago, and he said that they're considering submitting this project for future hospitality and lighting design awards. It's also a great project to gain publicity, and we believe Andreas' work is unique and has a wow effect with the green canopy. At least I have never seen this kind of design in the USA. And so it's really exciting. The people that we're working with at the highest possible caliber in the world, and even people of that caliber are considering the work that we're doing at the Nova House for their own publicity and their own awards and their own, accolades. That's exciting. So what's happened over the last 14 days? We've got meetings. We had meetings booked and we had a lot of follow-up with the TNDDA conference. I had an investor dinner in Orange County with 2 prospective investors. We had the Buttonwood conference this past week. I went for 4 days in Colorado. We have multiple investors eager to move into due diligence with us, just waiting on the third-party report. Obviously, that is just the high-level things, the bunch of meetings and work and, distributions and financial modeling and all sorts of things that are going on in the background as well. So the next 14 days, we have our due diligence report ideally completed within less than 14 days and sent out to all interested parties. That is the big one of all of this because that is what's really sort of holding us at the moment. Financial modeling will be completed at both the property level and the fund level. We've had a lot of troubles with this. We've had 2 people that we have brought on to do financial modeling for us and have had to unfortunately let go of both of them. So it's what should be a 3 to 4 day task, has turned into a month to a month and a half. Bringing someone on board, taking phenomenally too long, getting rid of them, getting someone new, and then the same thing again. So we've finally got someone that is already producing, majority of that. So we're about 90% finished on that, and should be done in the next couple of days. We'll also be following up from the Buttonwood conference in everyone that showed interest and everyone that actually wants to move forward and that we built a relationship with. We are all in on fundraising at the moment. This is a super vital moment for us. This is the moment. This is the moment where all of our ducks are in a row. Everything is lined up. Everything's ready to go. We've spent the last, 2 years just building everything to essentially to get to this stage. And now it is just going out there and making sure that we bring in the capital that's required. And a reminder on that is we're raising 40 million, which is a very different beast. And it's a very different attack and a very different approach than if you were just raising for, say, one property. And so there is an enormous amount of work that goes into it, an enormous amount of organization, structure, planning, and sort of, taking this on as, it's a full-time job for an entire team. It's not just, building a house and saying, hey, I need someone to pitch in $200,000 so I can build a house. It's an entirely different beast. You've got to put hundreds of thousands into actually raising $40 million. And it's a big beast. So we're looking forward to it. And, we've already got so much momentum that, hopefully we can start bringing in, a couple of $1 million a month over, towards the end of this year and through 2025. So really looking forward to that and keep you updated. We have 2 webinars that are coming up. The first one is on August the 13th, and we already have over 200 people who are signed up to attend. So if you have not registered to attend our webinar, please go to our LinkedIn, whether it be the Nova House, whether it be my personals, whether it be Martin, wherever, and please jump in and join our webinar for August the 13th. This is strictly for RIAs, broker-dealers, family offices, or professional investors, meaning people that are managing money that is not theirs, or predominantly not theirs. Family office, kind of blurs the lines a little bit on that one. But if you are just an individual, you're just an accredited investor, and you're just investing on behalf of yourself or maybe your family, whatever it might be, then please wait until August the 20th, which we will be hosting a webinar strictly for accredited investors and people that are managing their own money. And so, again, we've got over 200 people that are already signed up and attending this. So please jump to LinkedIn and let's learn together. And even if maybe tons about it. So maybe you're already invested. Show up in support. Maybe you can throw me some real softball questions or something like that. So last one here is second last one is thought of the week. And the thought of the week is that the hard route is the fast route. We have a natural tendency to avoid directness in anything that we do. However, it's always the fastest path to wherever you're going. And to give a very direct example of this, at Buttonwood, as I was mentioning, they have the large pitch to the whole room. And then you go into these small rooms with 10 to 15 people each. And for 15 minutes, they drill you with questions. And I found myself hoping that we were not going to get super tough questions in the small rooms at Buttonwood. And I was hoping that they were going to go easy on us. And I was hoping that it was going to go really well. And, that kind of thing, naturally. However, those questions are the exact questions that we need to know to be able to move forward. So it's a complete paradox. I need to know the questions that people have. I need to know the objections they have. I need to know why people are concerned, why people are hesitant, or what people are thinking about when they're looking at our deal. However, naturally, I want to try and actually avoid that because it's going to be, hard to handle. It's going to hurt my ego. It's just point blank. It's just easier to not have to deal with those things. And so it's an interesting paradox that, we all deal with on a daily basis. And that was an example, over, the last couple of days that I was dealing with. And the same sort of goes into the concept of building into whatever we desire. So maybe your desire is, having rental income from real estate, retire you from your job. And you build into it, with quotes, by buying one house and then waiting a couple of years and buying another, and then slowly building that portfolio up and up and up over, 20, 30, 40, 50 years versus, going all in on trying to get involved in a hotel deal or something that's really large that truly would set you up for life. Maybe it's a 35-unit apartment deal, whatever it might be. And the reason for that is that, going for the jugular is, it's hard. And we humans tend to be pussies by nature. And so that's the hard part about it is, we always try and build into things, and we try and avoid the most direct and abrupt route to get to what we want. So that's my thought of the week. Last one here is opportunities. If you are an accredited investor, a broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, family office, wealth manager, anyone that falls under the scope of looking for alternative investments, please jump to our website, which is www.thenovahouse.com. There is an investor portal in the top right that you can sign up to for free. There's no commitments. It's, just getting an info on our deals. If you are interested, you can do a few things. The first one is if you don't want to talk to me and you just want to go through it on your own, that's fine. You can invest right there on the portal. You've got all of your materials there, all of your offering documents, legal documents, your materials, your due diligence info, everything is right there. You can even connect your bank account, wire funds straight in the portal. A to Z takes about 4.5 minutes. Very quick, very efficient. Now, if you are like, no, I want to talk to Tyler before I move forward, then fantastic. There is a link in my LinkedIn bio where you just click and you can book an appointment with me at any time of day, any day of the week. We can chat. We can go through materials together. We can go through any questions you have, where you're at on your journey. Maybe this is right for you. Maybe it's not right from you. There's multiple calls that I have with prospective investors where this isn't right for them. What they're looking for is, what they really should be in gold and silver, or they should be in, energy plays or whatever it might be. And, there's also a lot of people that this is right for them. So if you're kind of on the fence, book an appointment. I would love to chat. And then the absolute lowest commitment here is join one of our webinars. You don't need to speak to us. You don't need to, have any kind of commitment whatsoever. You can just show up. You don't even have to have your camera on, your mic on, nothing. and, spend 20 minutes with us actually going through our materials together. And so you can find that on LinkedIn. We have Zoom links here, or you can reach out to me and I'll send you that Zoom link personally. So on that note, I hope that you have a fantastic weekend at this point, and I will see you on the next Founders Call. Until then, be great.